Why not? Are you still doing? You're not doing the short screen anymore. But no.
I take your ass down just one round, holding my side because you're a fucking clown.
Yeah, kick it with my homies, only true ones, no phonies. My life real sweet like Tony Montana, frosted flakes with the tiger, makeshift blunts like MacGyver. Dog, bet your girl act like a liar, cause the team insider. But I don't partake in that, so you better watch your back. Pussy like a kitty cat, softer than a pillow sack. Heard my track, thought it was crack. Hot fire, clack the shit like The Wire. Simple threads my attire. Your girl pussy the driest. Bank account need Vaseline. Who's the best? That's my team. Ain't nobody better at master schemes. So if you're not down with the click, bet them guns come out real quick. Like click, click, like click, click. Better find that click.
Yeah, we back on this motherfucking mixtape. Status greater than a grade 8. Back on track like the 500 Daytona. We did it for the moment. Fuck you on a jet with no judgment. I bought a new crib, that's money well spent. This girl, it's on her. Kanye talking about she could be in our late. I said, girl, don't play with me. You lucky that you're April Luggate. This good sex game, a fam tray. Shout out to my dad, cause this D makes these stretchy hoes glad. I know that's sad, but I'll just hit the dab. If we do that, then spit fire like my name Fat. We're going 12 rounds. I got my clips ready. Girl, come get this dick and arch that back fucking steady. Call me Richard cause I got prior. Spitting shit stronger than hellfire. Got the luck of a rapper's foot. Bustin' shots off, nigga, welcome to the output. Yeah, nigga, welcome to the motherfucking output. And ladies, say hi to the kings of this output.
Hey, welcome back everyone to the return of the Spiel, long awaited. I'm so glad to be here. Feel like it's been forever. We apologize, sorry for the wait, but we are here just in time for that NFL season. Just in time to give you some of our thoughts on your favorite sports. Welcome everyone, and I got some of our OGs in the house too. We got Scuba Steve, we got Lotus Tile. We're gonna go get into some topics tonight, but first up, let's how's everyone doing? How is everyone enjoying their Thursday night?
Been a good Thursday.
Great Thursday night, man. I'm so happy to be back with you guys, especially having Quay back on. He wasn't with us last time. You know, we got the original crew minus the Guru, so shout out to Guru too. But you know, Randy's you know, catching some Z's, but he'll be up for Fortnite later, so we'll do it without him.
Yeah, shout outs to Guru. We'll definitely have Guru here next time for sure. We definitely want to hear his thoughts, especially on how those Ravens are doing over in the Baltimore area. But we are here to talk about these Pittsburgh Steelers that have been killing it during the preseason. Today, they played the Falcons, and although the Falcons weren't playing their starters, these Steelers look strong. They look way better than they did a year ago. Seems like the full off-season for Kenny Pickett is really showing up in terms of the plays that we're seeing on the field. It seems like they haven't missed a beat. They're 5 for 5 in terms of touchdowns on their first 5 offensive possessions. So what do you guys think? How sustainable is this going to be going into the regular season? Can Matt Canada adjust and play well against NFL teams, against actual starters in the regular season with actual stakes on the line?
That's the question, but I'm just watching these highlights right now because did we see that deep ball to DJ on 3rd and 5? Like, that's a play that we ran for the last few years. The classic 3rd and short deep ball incompletion has been just a running theme of Steelers games for years, and I know it's preseason, but actually to hit one like that perfectly, and here's another one coming to Pickens on 2nd and 10. What a throw and catch. Seeing us hit those, we haven't hit a real deep pass maybe 1 or twice a year for a few years now since Ben had his elbow issues, and then Kenny and the other QBs last year unable to hit any deep passes. That's a crucial thing to do in the NFL, just to open up every other part of the offense, and if we're hitting all of that, that'll make Matt Canada look so much better because he's excels in the short yardage passing, RPO stuff, jet sweeps, getting creative with all of those types of plays. But he was never known as someone who really throws the ball down the field aggressively. So we can do that and take the top off the defense for Pickens, DJ, Calvin Austin. And then, I mean, Kenny's connection with Fryermuth is a thing of beauty, man. When you look at the touchdown throw from last week against the Bills that he had to Fryermuth was just unreal chemistry, just kind of, you can tell that they've been working all off season. Kenny with Pat, George, DJ. It's just clear he is just leaps and bounds better than he was last year, and he was pretty darn good the second half of his rookie season, but it's clearly way better. He added 13 pounds. He's now 226 instead of 213, a 6'3" with more muscle. He's big enough to take hits. He's obviously very mobile. He can run. It's going to be a big year for Kenny Pickett and the Steelers. I got him winning 11 or 12 games.
I'm right with 12. That's a lot of games.
I'm actually right with Steve on this one. And my big question mark as well was Canada. That's literally the first thing I wrote down when we wrote, we were going to talk about the Steelers. What is Matt Canada going to do? And as we keep iterating, maybe we're just high off preseason, but there has been something, wonderful about this preseason run and watching the starters go out there and put out some really good numbers and show some creativity on the offensive side of the ball. As you said, Steve, we really, really lacked over the last few years. Really consistent deep ball. Not saying that Kenny couldn't throw the ball deep last year, but just kind of getting that first year chemistry. Matt Canada really seemingly opened up the offense enough for us to have these deep plays. And if we did go deep, we had Claypool also drop passes. I feel like a lot of Kenny's early issues weren't even always necessarily on him. Some of it was play calling, and some of it was on other players. But as you saw, and as you said, going on throughout the rest of the year, he played much better that second half, and we're kind of seeing that continued progress, even going into the offseason and into this preseason now. The kid is looking ready to show teams like he was eligible. He was, definitely deserving of that first round pick. I feel like a lot of people thought, he may have been the most pro ready, but at the same time, nothing special, which I think has been fueling him and, being kind of under the radar. He's just been able to put his head down, go to work, and nice seeing the next great Steeler quarterback come up. I'm right with you, Steve. I personally believe it's going to be a great year for him. As long as Matt Canada really has this offense clicking and on all cylinders, we look very, very healthy right now. No injuries so far. We have a lot of depth.
Look at that throw, Sal. I'm sorry, cut you off. Look at that throw to Pat Fryermuth. Oh, my God. It's like right over the linebacker's shoulder, and Pat is somehow running his route while looking for the ball. They know they have that unspoken chemistry that the ball's going to be there in between three defenders. Like, that is stuff that takes years to develop, and they already seem to have that.
They already kind of have that chemistry. And even we see that as well with him and Pickens. I mean, dog already. We saw the flashes during camp last year and the plays that he made on the field last year, but we can tell the dude developed even more this year, this offseason, and it's going to be fun. I love that we're not really being talked about. I really do believe this is a team that can win 11 to 12 games. I don't see it being far-fetched by any stretch of the imagination. So, a year for Steeler fans out there if you're a Steeler fan.
Yeah, I mean, I do think to some degree we are all high off of the Steelers preseason pack. And we have to make sure that we temper our expectations. That Atlanta Falcons team didn't even have its starters out. So I think it's almost expected that they should have some success. It's funny because Steve made the joke that Falcons defense is so bad that the second string and the third stringers might even be better than the starters. And we'll see where that goes in terms of how those depth charts end up shaking up after the preseason's over. But I think in terms of the Steeler team, I mean, let's take a look at the schedule right now. Let's look up the Steelers schedule for 2023 and how many of these games are actually going to be wins here, right?
It starts with back-to-back home games. That's huge. Even if they lose to the Niners, they get the Browns on Monday night at home. Like, 2 home games in a row to start the season. I can't even, like, that's such a huge advantage. To not have to travel, sleep in your own bed and all that for almost the first month of the season. Guys are going to be so relaxed, especially if they beat the Niners in the opener. That's just going to set the tone for the whole year. I don't see them winning that. I know I got this Niners shirt on, and I got to say, you know, I'm not a Niners fan. Disclaimer, I'm a Jerry Rice fan, though. The GOAT. I'm just wearing it just because I wear it, because it's Jerry. But, no. That's going to be the game. I'll be rooting for the Steelers in that game. I don't think they win it, but a lot of people seem to think we win that and then lose to the Browns. I don't see that happening. But that's what a lot of people I'm seeing predict. But anyway, bring up the schedule, because it's a cupcake schedule as far as I'm concerned, the way compared to previous seasons when the Steelers always seem to have the toughest schedule in the league based on winning percentage from the year before. Like I swear that's happened multiple times in the last 2 years, but not this year. So that's another reason why I see 11 or 12 wins.
All right, so let's say they lose to the Niners. Let's say they win against the Browns at home. And then how about this at Raiders? Yeah, I mean, I think that should be a game that's winnable. But this team has a history of losing against the Raiders. So we'll give them the first L.
1 and 2 to start the year.
So they're 1 and 2 at that point. Then they go and play the Texans.
That's a win.
It should be. I'd hope so, but
no, that's a win.
So we'll get.
Stroud's not going to be ready. Dude, Steelers against rookie quarterbacks? No way. That's a win.
Yeah, very strong record against those first-year signal callers. So then they play the Ravens at home. I could see them losing that game or winning that game.
We don't lose to Lamar. They better hope Lamar's not playing.
And then after that, Steelers travel to LA to play the Rams. How about that?
They're terrible. That's a win. That's a win.
All right. Well,
that's one too.
Us based off of our first 7 weeks, going anywhere from 5-2 to 6-1.
Who's after the Rams now? I have a 4-2 or 5-1.
So then the Jaguars come into town right after that.
That's a tough game, but I see us probably winning. I mean, I could see us 4-3 to 6-1 through 7 games.
All right, so then the Jaguars come in. Let's say they win that game, and then the Titans come into town too, which I think
that's a win.
That game.
That's a win. They
seems like they're in disarray. How about the new look Packers without Aaron Rodgers?
Win.
That's a win.
I think so too. I think that's going to be a dub.
7-2.
And then how about at Browns in Cleveland?
I don't know. I mean, Deshaun wasn't very good last year. I'll give the Browns that win, assuming he's back to more what he used to be. We'll give Deshaun that win. The Browns.
Right. Yeah, I think that's realistic. I'm splitting it, and then this first game against the Bengals here, it's going to be Thanksgiving week.
Tough.
That's tough. I think they're going to lose that one, and then the Cardinals come into town. I think they're going to win.
That's the easiest win of the year. That's the worst team in the league this year. That's 8-4.
And then the Patriots then are coming through.
That's a win.
That's a dub.
So too. And then the Colts, who are currently
they beat us last year. We can't lose to those bums and Mac Jones 2 years in a row. So that's 9-4. That's a win.
And then the Colts, who are running into running back issues themselves with Jonathan Taylor.
And they have a running back at quarterback too. Yeah.
So I think that's
Richardson might be nice, but he's another rookie, so he's not ready. That's 10-4.
Then Bengals come into town.
That's a loss.
That's definitely.
But I thought the first one was the first time we played them on Thanksgiving is at Cincy.
Yeah, for Thanksgiving at Cincy. Then it's looks like Christmas.
We'll say they beat us here too. They've had our number. Say they beat us here, so we played them the whole holidays. So.
The Steelers come all the way to Seattle, New Year's Eve. I think they could lose that game. It's a lot.
Tough one.
That's going to be a tough game, I think. Not easy.
I'd say Seattle wins that. So 10-6, and then end with the Ravens in Baltimore, right?
Yep.
And we're winning that. So 11-6 is my prediction.
11
losses. I've got losses to the Niners, Raiders. Who else do we say? Niners, Raiders.
Browns, at Bengals.
At Browns. both Bengals games, and then at Seahawks. Yeah,
Yep.
that sounds fair. 11-6, but I could see 12-5.
11-6, and I mean, I wonder how that stacks up against what we've done in the past. So, I mean, 11-6, we had an 11-5 record back in 2016. That was the year we lost in the conference.
We started 11-0 in like 2018 or 2020.
It was 2020, yeah, 11-0, and then
finished 12-4 and lost in the first round to the Browns.
Yeah, it all started with Chase Young, I think. And
yeah,
the Washington football team.
After the Ravens almost beat us when Edmonds blew like the worst play of his life. I'm happy he's gone. I don't know if we want to
team anymore.
I don't know if we even need to talk about him. I don't want to disparage the man, but happy he's gone.
All right,
ready for new blood in the secondary.
I think it is time to maybe shift the conversation over. We talk about Steelers all day, but I think everyone else wants to hear about how their team might fare when it comes to chasing the Lombardi Trophy. So what I have in front of us here is the standings from last year. And a discussion that we'll be having next is which teams from the AFC and the NFC are going to represent for the Super Bowl. So what do we have here for Super Bowls? And we don't need to have predictions for the game right now, but who do we like to represent both conferences?
I think it's pretty wide open for the AFC. AFC has any one of those four teams. I would actually say more 3 of 4 teams. AFC East minus the Patriots can go to the playoffs and actually go to the Super Bowl. One of our teams in the AFC North outside of the Browns, I think they can easily go to the Super Bowl this year. Look at the AFC West. Patrick Mahomes, the constant. You have the Chargers. Still think they have a coaching issue, but still the talent to literally contend with anyone. Good defense. The Broncos with a new coach with Sean Payton. Maybe he fixed Russ. Who knows? They had a strong defense. They have a good offense. They just couldn't really utilize it. So AFC is going to be pretty tough. I still think until we see and it's said otherwise, I think it's one of those things where it has to be Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. You know, those Chiefs are who they are. They've shown us over the past years that they are the cream of the crop. The AFC, like I said, close. There's pretty much a close second amongst them with Eagles. With the Jets having a quarterback now, being a more complete team, you can bolster up the AFC. So it's gonna be really tough. But like I said, until shown otherwise, it's gonna be Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And then NFC, I think NFC there aren't many teams that it's not top heavy. It's not deep at all. I mean, NFC West, you got the 49ers and the Seahawks. Rams and Cardinals are what they are. NFC East, that's probably the most competitive, as it always is. It'll be fun to see what team comes out of that. But, I mean, I think people still probably have the Eagles out of that very definitively, and then whoever falls after that. And outside of that, every other division is kind of with the NFC. So I think, once again, it's one of those, you look at the cream of the crop of the NFC, and I really think it could be the 49ers. I do think if Brock Purdy's not hurt last year, they beat the Eagles and actually go against the Chiefs for the rematch. So I think that's what we're going to have next year, potentially. It's going to be the Chiefs and the 49ers.
Definitely see that. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go against the Chiefs and the AFC as the favorite. They're definitely the favorite going in, but they're not going to be my pick. They're going to win every year. They can't go every year, right? I mean, they got to miss one. Yeah. Something's got to go against them. Someone's got to get, an unfortunate injury, someone important or something that they can't keep going every year, I don't think, even though Mahomes gives them a chance every year. As long as he's out there, wouldn't be surprised if they will win it again. But going to go in a different direction in the AFC. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I'm just telling it. I'm saying it right now. I don't care if it's a jinx. They look like the team to beat to me right now. They're going to the Super Bowl. And in the NFC, I'm going to say the Eagles. I mean, how could they not? They got better, I think. I mean, they added Jalen Carter to that defensive line. They're going to be unstoppable, that front seven. I mean, they lost Hargrave to the Niners, so the Niners are going to be great too again. But I don't know if Purdy's even going to be the same after that elbow injury. We'll see if he takes time to work back into full speed, and or whether he's just like a one-year wonder type thing, you know. I don't know. We'll see, but they'll be really good. And the Vikings, I think, should be really good again. Jordan Addison, oh my God, made an incredible catch in practice against the Cardinals. I just saw that highlight a couple hours ago. Unreal. So he's going to eat. Vikings are going to have a great offense. I just don't trust their defense as much. So the Eagles have the most complete team in the NFL, in my eyes. I thought they did last year as well, going into the Super Bowl. Probably, I think, picked them to win, but Mahomes is just too good. And so wasn't surprised the Chiefs won. I was happy the Chiefs won, but I thought the Eagles would win that game just with Hurts at the top of his game, those receivers, and that running game, and just that terrific defense. So I think the Eagles make it back for the all-Philly Super Bowl that we've always wanted to see.
I was going to say, has there ever been an
Steelers, Eagles. Eagles, Super Bowl. There's never been one before.
That's crazy. Yeah, we need to make that happen.
Well, that can be your question, Clay. Has there ever been what? An all-PA Super Bowl?
I say, has there ever been like an interstate Super Bowl?
For any other state? I'm sure Cali, maybe. Was there? I don't know. Maybe not.
They're all usually in the same conference.
No, I don't think the Niners ever played the Raiders. That's what I was thinking.
New York, Pennsylvania, the Florida team.
Yeah, that's a good point, Sal. They're mostly in the same conference. It would have to be like a Florida thing. I don't think it's probably never happened. I don't think it's ever happened. That's a good question. That's something we could look at.
Yeah, but yeah. Maybe like Dolphins, I think it happens. Yeah, I
don't think that's happened.
That'd be pretty cool. I mean, obviously, we would be very ecstatic, very excited if the Steelers made it to the Super Bowl. For myself, I'm gonna actually go with the boring pick, which is last year's matchup. I really think this Chiefs team is going to beat the Bills again. I think the Bengals have the formula to beat them, but the Bengals have to get there, and it is a very competitive AFC North. So we'll see if they can last out the season. They're a great team, but I don't see that team making it to the Super Bowl again. I really do think this is the Chiefs dynasty. And, I mean, I'm looking at the NFC. I mean, look at the NFC standings in front of me, and there's really no team. I like the Niners, but, you know, Purdy versus Hurts. For me, I think I got to go with the Eagles. So I'm going to go with the boring pick there. The Chiefs and the Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl. So we just got done talking about who we think is going to achieve the Super Bowl, at least the matchup, and get there. How about this? What team is going to be a team that was last in the standings, or maybe close to last in the standings, third? And
nope, gotta be last. Gotta be last to first. 18 out of the last 20 years it's happened. So who's gonna make it 19 out of 21? That's what we want to know.
So who?
It's gotta be last.
We got the Jets in the AFC East with Aaron Rodgers. We got the Browns, who are going to have that full year with their quarterback. We got Houston, who they have some talented players, but there's still a lot of pieces. A lot of pieces still missing there. Denver, I think, is another team that has some talented players, but I think now they have the kind of the coaching to match up with it.
And not winning that division, though.
Washington is, I think, as good as any of the other teams in the NFC East. They always seem to have.
Except for the Eagles.
Yeah, but in terms of, I think, the division rivalries, I think they can at least split most of those games. The Bears, I mean, we played this matchup the other day with the with the Bears, and the Fields really going off in our Madden game.
Madden in real life,
yeah. If he can play as well as they played in there, I mean, maybe they have a chance to go there. But the Lions have been a big talking point of the town here during the preseason. And then obviously Atlanta and the Saints and the Cardinals all are tied up there. So that's almost cheating, right? Like we're talking about just like one win. So
Atlanta, the Saints, and the Panthers. Wow.
Yeah.
Atlanta, Saints, and Panthers. It says CAR for Carolina, not Cardinals.
Right. And then NFC West, obviously the Cardinals, who are in big trouble, I think, also. So which one? We can all pick a team here. I guess I'll go first this time. And I'm going to pick the easy layup, and that is going to be the Jets. I think the Jets can flip the switch. And the Bills, I think especially, there were times during the playoffs where I felt like they just couldn't get into the rhythm, and defenses were figuring them out. So we'll see how far they go. Josh Allen is on that Madden cover, so maybe the Madden curse will fall upon him and his team. Miami has the stars, but Tua. We know what's going on with Tua. I think he's looking a little thick. As Ryan Clark said, looking like a dancer at Onyx. I don't have any. I mean, the Patriots.
He's going to come out. He's going to come for you.
The two are going to come for me, and Ryan Clark and RC. But yeah, I think it's the Jets. I think Aaron Rodgers. They hopefully we'll see how Brees is after the injury, but they have a new running back in town too, who's going to do a lot of damage, I think. And then
Dalvin.
Yeah, with Dalvin. So. And then, they have players on the defense. They've always had defensive players, I think, this Jets organization, even when the team is bad. But, Sauce is on another level, which is really funny. Steve showed me this emoji the other day to represent Sauce. I think it was a tomato sauce can and a Gardner. And I've been calling him Tomato Sauce Gardner.
No, Tomato Sauce Farmer, you call him.
Tomato Sauce Farmer, that's what it is.
Oh, that's perfect.
But yeah, it's I think it's the Jets. Jets, Jets.
Okay. I think I'll be fun. I won't go boring. While the hype is there for the Lions, potentially yes, the Bears are the other team that could also potentially win that division. I like some of the ascension from Fields last year. More of his decision making. And all of it was always as a passer. It was more of, hey, if I don't see it, I'm going. I like a little bit more from him. There's the thing that I have about running quarterbacks where I want their second nature to be running and their first nature to become passing. I do think Fields was doing that a little bit more last year. With certain things. He still definitely relies more on the athleticism, so we'll have to see if he can take the next step, kind of like how Jalen Hurts forward every year, became a better passer. So see if Fields can do the same thing, but I think they revamped their defense enough. They have a great running back in Kyle Herbert, who I think is really looking to break out this year. And then we have, like I said, their defense is pretty solid. Revamped that front seven even without having Roquan, which the head-scratching move at first, but seems to help them at the end, getting Terrell Edmonds on that defense to kind of replace
Tremaine Edmonds.
Or Tremaine Edmonds, yeah, I'm sorry, the twins. But yeah, Tremaine Edmonds, you don't want
to. A good twin.
Yeah. So yeah, they got him to replace Roquan, which is a good replacement. I think Roquan's a little bit better, but still great middle linebacker there. Great pass rush there, and offense has gotten better too with an emerging tight end in Cole Kmet. So, we'll see. Like I said, that their division is pretty open too. I could see any team in that division taking the number 1 crown. So, go Bears.
Bears.
I like both of those picks, and I definitely could see the Jets as they're the only team in the AFC that I think could do it. In the NFC, I could see the Bears doing it, but I gotta take the easy route and go to the NFC South, where I think the Falcons will turn it around from worst to first after going one game back of the 8-9 Buccaneers last year, who won the South. This year, don't have to do much better than that probably to win it. Those are 4 mediocre teams at best, but I think the Falcons will get it done with Bijan Robinson leading the way. He's going to be a superstar rookie running back. Can't wait to see this guy play for real. I mean, he's going to be electric, no doubt. We've had some great rookie running backs in recent years, and he's going to be as good as any of them, I think. So I'll go. I mean, I could see any of those 4 teams winning the division, but if I pick one, go with Atlanta in the South. Someone has to do it. 18 out of 20 years, it's got to happen.
Atlanta Falcons. So we got the Jets, the Bears, and the Falcons last to first, and we'll see what happens in a couple of months. But like you said, 18 out of 20, so I mean the probability is pretty high here. But yeah, that NFC South seems like it is a good bet there in terms of the Falcons going to first. So let's switch over. We talked about a lot of NFL, and there was a UFC pay-per-view the other night with the headliner Sugar Sean O'Malley beating the former champion Aljamain Sterling. And I wanted to hear your thoughts on it. I mean, we all got to kind of watch it together in terms of virtually and chat about it during the fight. But I want to hear your thoughts live here on the Spiel. What is everyone feeling with Sugar Sean getting that TKO against Aljo? Do some of us think that the stoppage was too early? Do we like Sugar Sean here as the champion? And where do we think that he's going to take the division moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's great for the sport, first off. I mean, they need more stars being champions, like marketable, fun, personalities, and Sean is the number one of all of that right now, I mean, Connor's out of the game. Who knows if he's coming back, but Sean hopefully doesn't go down his same dark path. He's obviously following in his footsteps in a lot of ways, and I think a lot of that is intentionally, obviously, but hopefully he's smart enough to, be his own man at the same time and learn from Connor's mistakes and not do the dumb stuff he did, all the perils of fame that came, angles, switches stances effortlessly, all kind of stuff that you only see from the elite strikers of MMA. He is one of them, no doubt. So, I mean, you saw it against Jan, the fight he put out, even though he lost in everyone's eyes except for 2 judges, he still landed some big, big shots and put on a hell of a fight. So that alone told me that, yeah, if Aljo stands with him, he's going to knock him out, and he just couldn't get him down or didn't try too hard enough, early on enough, and paid the price because, man, that was the most picture-perfect counter I have seen in a long time in the sport. Since Conor versus Aldo, I think that's what it brings back memories of, and yeah, and the stoppage was justified. I mean, he dropped him with the perfect right hand and then hit him for about 10, 15 more seconds with like 20 unanswered shots. Aljo's like flailing around on the ground, and then he eventually turns over to cover up, gives up his back and starts taking more shots, dribbling his head off the ground, where you can't see him coming. That is when the referee should definitely step in, and that's when he did. That was a perfect stoppage, and anyone that says it wasn't or is complaining it was too early, I think they probably just lost money on Aljo.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Rogan during the broadcast talking about how he kept moving and he kept moving, and
Merab, he's still moving. Yeah, he's breathing. He's still alive. Why are we stopping it? He's not dead.
And Maraba on social media too.
He's still complaining. That's his teammate, of course. Yeah,
was very upset about it. I think it was the perfect stoppage. I think Mark Goddard gave Aljo multiple times. You saw that there were multiple times where he kind of gave him a chance to defend himself, and he couldn't stop any of the shots. He couldn't get his hands up. He was just in a bad position, and he gave up his back and was just taking shots from.
He ate 1 or 2 really clean shots, like with his face down on the mat right as he was stepping in. If it was a couple more of those, it would have been very damaging. So he should be thanking Mark Goddard. And if the fighter himself isn't complaining about it, which Aljo hasn't, obviously it was a good stoppage. He never protested it in the time, and he hasn't complained about it since. It's only other people that are complaining, not him. So that tells you all you need to know. He knows it was a good stoppage, and I've really gained more respect for Aljo in the aftermath because he really did give his props to Sean right away in the octagon, and ever since he's been a good sport about it, I think. So I've gained more respect for him. I was never his biggest fan. The try to be a big fan of someone who wins the belt by DQ. That's never happened before, so But I'm glad that era and that saga's over. It felt so weird having him as the bantamweight champ, even though he proved he deserved it after the fact. To win it that way, it was like, all right, we need new blood, and the sugar show has begun. We'll see how long it lasts. We'll see if he actually defends it against the real killers like Merab or Sandhagen, or if he goes for the Tito route. I don't know. I mean, but Tito beat him last time too, so I think he has a tough fight with whoever he fights next. And then don't even start on Umar, Nurmagomedov, because he wants next too, and he's got to get a couple more wins. But he looks like he could take out everyone in that division.
Yeah, and also Cejudo. I mean, we saw his reaction when Aljo got dropped too. I mean, I think everyone is really feeling this threat of Sean O'Malley, especially his stand-up. I think he's just so much bigger than all these other bantamweights. I mean, all these other bantamweights. But
that's why I want to see him with Sandhagen. Sandhagen is like the same height and also an extremely, extremely intelligent, crafty, diverse striker. And he showed he has good grappling in his last fight too when he beat Font, I think, right, for unanimous decision. So people were complaining about that was a boring fight, but that just proved how more well-rounded Sandhagen is, honestly. So that, I'm not saying he deserves to fight next, but I think one more win, Corey could be in that picture. But I think it's got to be Merab or Cheeto next. Cheeto just strictly for the rematch angle. That's Sean's only loss right now on his record, so that makes sense if they want to do that, even though Cheeto's not the most deserving guy right now, because he's got whooped by Sandhagen. So Sandhagen, probably 1 or 2 wins away. Umar Nurmagomedov, probably 2 wins away at least. But Merab should probably be next, either now or after Cheeto, if Sean wins the rematch with Cheeto. And I don't know if he could beat Merab. I don't know who could beat Merab.
Yeah.
I like that. I think Merab would definitely be the next fight. And like you said, outside of like the rematch potential for it and just, that whole storyline behind it. Don't think really too deserving for that quite yet. If there's a title defense and O'Malley's able to, defend his title, then I think obviously that would come next as well. But I enjoyed the fight. I actually said that I thought the fight could go pretty far. I was actually going to go a little bit farther. We were going to see a little bit more of a blend of things where, you got to kind of strategically fill out your opponent and go against their strengths and weaknesses. So, like you said, I thought Aljamain would try to take down more. And he did in the first round a little bit. If I recall, I think he did 2 or 3 takedown attempts and was successful in 2 of them. But he didn't have...
Oh, he had just one at the end of the round, I think, where he just landed a bunch of, kind of clinch shots. I don't know if he got him down. I just know Aljo won the end of the first round where nothing happened till the last really 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then Aljo, got control. I'd have to watch it again, but he either took him down or had him up against the fence in a clinch and landed, 15 unanswered weak strikes, but it was just enough to win him the round. Yeah. Nothing happened until then. And then it was funny, I got to mention, they asked Sean in the press conference afterward. They were asking him about it, so... And this is why I really do like Sean. I mean, he's got some great quips. I mean, almost not Conor in his prime level, but the reporter asked him, so what did you see? Did you see that they scored, all 3 judges scored the first round for Aljo? What did you think of that? And he thought about it. He's like, what? And he was talking about it. He's like, no, what? I dominated. He couldn't touch me. And yeah, well, they all scored the first round for him. You know that? And he's like, he sits there, thinks about it. So, yeah, well, what did they score the second round?
Yeah,
definitely a 10-7 at least.
Yep, definitely 10-7. What people were saying about whether or not the fight was ended early or stopped early, we talked about it a little bit, and I personally thought that the fight ended a little late. Made me understand why certain people may have thought that Aljo could continue on. If we look at the clip, definitely a point where Aljo was probably actually out. I think it was after the second hammer fist on the ground. His hands look like they're trying to flail and fight away, but if you actually look at him in the face, bro was gone. And I was like, yo, I feel like he should call it, but he didn't call it. And I guess I kind of understand because, champs, you want to try to give the champion a chance and everything. But I thought that fight should have been called at that moment. So I understand why people thought, oh, well, he started to, and I think because that's when he kind of started to gain some more of his consciousness back. But like you said, ends up flipping on his in front to his back, and then it's just like at that point
you're not defending yourself at that point. Like you're caught. Like don't give up your back at any point. Like the ref will come in to save you if you do.
Yeah. Because even if it wasn't even strikes, at that point, like the other reason I even tell you not to do that is because you can end up in a rear naked.
Right here.
Right.
So I said,
right there. Thank you. I wasn't watching. I had the Discord up. Sorry. So let me watch this again because I wasn't. I have the clip right now. Yeah. So boom, major hard shot. Boom, boom, boom. Like what? What more do you want?
So you see what I'm talking about? Where it looked like he was already out, kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
I thought that's where the fight should have ended there. Like
a few more strikes there, and we're discussing like a horrifically bad stoppage. Like why didn't he stop it earlier? So it was the perfect time because the perfect time to stop a fight, if anything, is early. Because otherwise you start talking about too late, and then you're just letting fighters suffer brain damage and neurologic, just like long term stuff that'll affect them forever. Like you gotta be in there for their safety, and like come on, 30 shots on the ground after a perfect shot like that to drop them, that's enough. I mean, Sean won the fight where there's no debate. There's no one saying, "Oh, if only the ref didn't step in, Aljo was about to get up and knock him out." Like, what are you? No, he was done. He knows it.
And everyone knows it. Aljo's not. He's not like, and he's not really contesting it or anything. He literally is taking like a man understood. Like, yeah, he lost.
Yeah, I've seen early stoppages. I've seen bad stoppages where the guy literally like pops right up. Or think about Robbie Lawler when Ben Askren had him in a bulldog choke and he didn't tap, and Herb Dean or whoever just pulled him off because he thought he was asleep, and he's fine. So I've seen bad stoppages, but no, not that one.
Yeah, so fight. I personally really enjoyed the fight. Like I said, I had O'Malley winning the fight. I did. I just thought it was gonna go a little longer, but caught that man right on the chin perfectly, and then just went to town with the ground and pound, hammer fist.
Yeah, I mean, 292 had some crazy moments too. Even the fight before, Wei Li, I mean, she had it was master.
288 to 21 total strikes. 288 to 21.
Yeah, it was insane, and it was just doing.
They're calling her the best women's pound for pound fighter right now over Nunez and Shevchenko.
Yep.
Well, we gotta wait. We gotta see how long Wei Li can do it. I think Nunez and Shevchenko defended their titles so many times. It's kind of absurd.
Well, Shevchenko's got to get it back. She's got to fight Grasso, a rematch there.
Yeah.
So it's hard to put her over Nunez.
No, you can't put her over Nunez. At least not right now. But
most people are. That's what I'm saying. I'm not, but most people seem to be. But yeah.
And we all love Wei Li.
Everyone's so quick to say, "Oh, they're the new pound for pound." Like, no, I kind of like to stick with who's doing the best.
Right. Yeah. Let Wei Li handle hers, and she seems like one of the most lovable fighters right now on the roster too. Just like universally loved, which is crazy.
Well, speaking of lovable, who do we have fighting next?
Well, we do on the next pay-per-view. Well, this weekend in Singapore, we got Max Holloway fighting Korean Zombie. Assuming this is going to be a Korean Zombie send-off.
Yeah, I just saw Holloway talking about that. He was in like UFC. He was talking about because the Hawaii. He's from Hawaii, so the Maui fires and everything. He's been there's a lot of people devastated by that impact. He's lost loved ones, I think, to that. So he said for the first time he's going to have a walkout song dedicated to them, like an ancient, like a traditional Hawaiian song, and for the first time wearing red fight shorts on Hawaii too. So and he's got like some donation fund thing set up as well that people can donate to as well. So he's definitely one of the great guys of the sport, Max Holloway, and I'm really looking forward to that walkout and seeing him fight representing Hawaii. Zombie, his last fight too is going to be sad, but that seems like a pretty rough send-off for Zombie. They're sending him to get slaughtered, I think.
Yeah, that's how it feels like. Lamb's slaughter, especially after the Volkanovski fight where he was just outmatched, and it's
two guys who got freaking outmatched by Volk in the last one. But yeah, Holloway was. I mean, Zombies was a little more brutal, I would say. He got finished, whereas Holloway lost a 5-round decision. But yeah, Zombie got stopped against Volk. So, but both guys took big beatings in that fight. But Holloway has since bounced back and beat Allen. He always bounces back. So yeah, he still seems to have a good amount left in the tank somehow after taking like 2,800 strikes without getting dropped now in the UFC. Like, will this be the fight he gets dropped? I don't think so. But who knows? That'd be a cool send-off for Zombie. Even if he doesn't win, he drops Max Holloway for his person to do it in his last fight. That'd be cool. I'd do that.
If he won, it'd be a crazy way to end the career, too. Especially against one of the greatest.
He could pull off a crazy KO if anyone could. I mean, of course, it's the Zombie. So, yeah, that's a great fight. I can't wait to see. Yeah, the next pay-per-view style, as you were talking about one of the most lovable fighters, we got one of the most unlikable fighters or hateable fighters playing or the middleweight belt.
Yeah, we got the airbender, the last style bender. Yeah, Izzy Adesanya coming fresh off of probably his most memorable fight.
Oh, 100%.
Where he looked like if that fight went on any further, he was going to be gone. His legs looked like they were suffering from those leg kicks from Poatan. But he'll be facing Sean Strickland, who got washed up by Alex Pereira when they fought. I don't know why, but Sean decided not to cover his face during that fight. But he seems motivated. Him and Adesanya have had some words. I think Sean had talked about his love for anime and teased him a little bit for it. And in typical Izzy fashion, he came back with nothing, no heat, horrible comebacks. But he shows up in the ring, right? He shows up in the ring and he'll beat you up there. So it doesn't matter if he makes an Elsa Frozen joke or talks about 28 and me and all this other random stuff. How do we feel about his chances here to fight Sean Strickland? And where does it go if he can beat Sean Strickland? Where does he go with the next fight? Because we were expecting Dricus before this, and that fell through. And now this is kind of the fight that we weren't really expecting, and it's kind of like almost, I don't know how excited we are for it, but at least for myself, I thought that other matchup would have been a lot better for the UFC. Yes. Obviously, they couldn't get that done. But does Sean Strickland here have a chance against the last stylebender?
No chance. There's zero chance. Izzy can be beaten, but not by this guy. Sorry, go ahead, Clay.
And I was going to say, I personally think Izzy overcoming that hill of Alex in their last fight, I really think a fighter has to be essentially Alex Pereira level or more to essentially take down Izzy. And like we're saying, Strickland really has no chance. I mean, Strickland got washed by Pereira, and Izzy was able to overcome that hump. And so I don't see it, and I really do think getting that monkey off of his back, which was Alex Pereira, I really do think is more loose than he's ever been, more focused. I don't think he's trying to tarnish his legacy anymore. If it's a better fighter, a more distinguished fighter, sometimes the better fighter wins. But I don't think he's going to try to come to the plate short with any other fighter that's beneath him. So I want to give respect to Strickland because I mean he's a fighter and has a great record, but still, just think he competing with Izzy in this fight.
He just doesn't have enough tools to bring to the table. His whole game plan, his whole MO for winning fights is outworking guys, putting on a pace that they can't keep up, being tougher than them, and just having this volume cardio striking, similar to like Colby kind of, but without the wrestling. He's not looking to wrestle anybody. He just literally strikes and wins these 5-round decisions, or guys wilt under the pressure and he'll get a stoppage. But he's not someone who's going to take Izzy down and wear him down with the grappling, ground and pound, threatening with submissions like Jan Blachowicz did at 205, or like Freakus was going to threaten to. So that's why the Duplessis matchup is way more intriguing, because he's just been mauling, just running through all of his opponents. No one can stop these vicious takedowns and ground and pound that he has. It's like, it's weird. It's an enigma when you watch him fight. It's like you don't know what makes him good. He's awkward. He's not really great at any one skill, but he's just this like tank and this force who just seems to have this moment in every fight where he flips a switch and says, okay, I'm going to win now. And he just goes and takes the guy down and submits him or beats him up until they stop it. So that's Duplessis. Strickland, like I said, doesn't have that same finishing ability. He doesn't have the wrestling and the ground and pound, the ground control to be able to threaten Izzy on the ground. It's going to be a striking battle. It's going to be a kickboxing battle. And we just saw that, yeah, maybe Alex Pereira can beat Izzy in a kickboxing battle, but Izzy could also knock him out too. So if he can do that to him, and we saw what Pereira did to Sean. I know MMA math does not work. You can't just say someone beat someone and someone else beat someone so that they'll beat them. It's a flat circle, and they go round robin. But in this situation, when you just have guys that are just going to be striking, and Izzy and Pereira are on such a higher level than Strickland as a striker, clearly. And I know Sean's been training with Pereira, too. He's gotten better, for sure. Clearly he's getting better. His last couple fights have been his best performances. And that's why he's getting this title shot, but he's really getting the title shot because Duplessis wasn't ready, and there's no one else in the division. Izzy's cleaned it out. And so it was supposed to be the other way around. It was supposed to be Duplessis first, the more intriguing matchup. Sean was supposed to have to get one or two more big wins, and if he did, then you have a good, more intriguing fight. But they had to throw him in there. Props to him for stepping up. He said he wanted it after his last win. He said, give me the title shot. Well, he's getting it, and he's going to get a royal ass whooping is what I foresee because, it's going to be a stand-up fight. And like I said, no one stands with Izzy. Even Pereira got knocked out cold, so what's he going to do to Sean? I don't think it's going to end well. It's not going the distance. It's not going to judges unless they both play it safe somehow. But Izzy does kind of require someone to push the pace for him to get going. And so I think Sean's aggressive kind of style is just going to play right into Izzy's hands. He's just going to just set him up, pick him apart, counter him, and just, look what he did to Paulo Costa, dude. Like, if Pereira's not the scariest 185er when he was there, then Costa has to be. I mean, Izzy mauled him and literally molested him in about 2 rounds. So, what's he going to do? It's going to be, I think it's going to be a showcase for Izzy, elevate his star even more, and then set up that Duplessis fight where that is one that's going to do big numbers. It's already got so many people talking, the whole real African angle, blah, blah, blah. I can't wait for that when it does happen to hopefully see Duplessis get humbled there. And then, we got Hamzat fighting Costa in October, and the winner of that, which I presume to be Hamzat, they got to make that Izzy fight eventually, because that's the one guy I could see beating Izzy at 185, and that would be a hell of a fight.
Yeah, that would be crazy. I mean, for now, though, Israel Adesanya is on top of the middleweight division. I mean, right now we have the record up. I mean, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 title 8 title fights where he's won. So I think 8 defenses, 9 title fights at
No, he's not 8 defenses. No, that's not right. So.
Whitaker, Romero, Costa, Vittori, Whitaker again, Cannonier. So 7. Looks like 7.
Well, let's see. So he won it against... 2, 3, first Gastelum was the interim one. That's why you're seeing another bout. So Gastelum's the interim. He won the interim, and then he won the real one with Whitaker. So then his first defense was Yoel, Costa, Vittori, Whitaker, Cannonier. He's had 5 defenses, and he won it back. So he's now a 2-time middleweight champion, which is very rare. I want to say he's the only 2-time middleweight champion in UFC history, but I'm not positive. I can't think of anyone else that lost. I can't think of anyone else that lost the middleweight belt and won it back. I'm almost positive, and that only adds to your legacy. So, 5 title defenses, 2-time middleweight champ, pretty good. But you still gotta. I guess he's halfway to Anderson. Anderson had 10 middleweight title defenses, so he could. Let's see if he can get there.
Yeah, and I mean he's fighting good fighters too. I mean, Robert Whitaker would probably be the champion for years if it weren't for Izzy.
Yeah, win over Yoel Romero, as boring and bad of a fight as it was, he did get the win. I mean, Costa was very, very impressive win. And Cannonier is doing really well too lately, and he outclassed him easily. So even Vittori's tough as nails. Outclassed him, beat him twice.
And I think that's it in terms of, I think Tweez also, Tevasa's fighting too. Mr. Drink Beer out of the shoe. He's fighting Volkov.
That's a good fight.
Yeah,
Volkov
that should be
win.
crazy. Fight leading up to the Izzy fight. Should be a lot of fun for those.
That is,
land down
it's
under.
not the greatest card of the year, but the 294 card, that is the card of the year. Charles versus Islam 2. Hamza versus Costa.
I think it's time for us to circle back and switch up to another sport here, and it's a sport that for us Americans is very popular amongst the young ones, but not one that I think most Americans watch and follow at least as much as their counterparts around the world, and that is soccer, or football as they call around the world. And one of the greatest of all time, or the greatest of all time, Lionel Messi, as we know, is now on Inter Milan, and they have been on a
Inter Milan?
Or Inter Miami, excuse me. That'd be funny if he actually went to Inter Milan. He left Europe to come here to the States, following the footsteps of Ibrahimovic, David Beckham, Wayne Rooney, all of the legends that have come over here. How does it feel as, I think, fans of the individual, but I think I would say for most of us as Americans, I think we're still very out of tune in terms of the way football works, the different schedules, the different international play, cup, and everything like that. And yeah, we've had very big superstars come to the MLS before, but it seems like this is a lot different, right? It feels like this is a lot more special. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on Lionel Messi coming to the U.S. and playing for Miami and winning that Leagues Cup.
I think it's been pretty big. Like you're saying, I do think while it's rising amongst the youth in our country, amongst millennials and even the boomers ahead of us and everything, soccer wasn't really the sport. It's always been football, baseball, basketball, something that we watched over here. And basketball also has been something that's progressively grown in viewership over time, even here in the U.S., starting to potentially the NFL at some point. But I thought it was a big deal, and we even saw that with the fact that the man scored goals throughout the cup and was looking very vintage and unstoppable. Believing he's 35 and playing as if he's truly in the prime of his career. And just kind of seeing, like I said, just kind of seeing as the man in each and every game, finding ways to score or set up his teammates. I think it got people more excited. Actually, something I had wrote down when we were talking about this segment is MLS's popularity going to go up now because we have one of the greats, if not the great, in Lionel Messi here. Is this going to draw more attention to your average viewer to tune in? I don't know. Maybe there needs to be a little more star power. Maybe if other top international players decide to come over to MLS, maybe that would be a difference. But not to say that we don't have our own great players over here in the men's league. So, like I said, it's a question to ask. Just kind of seeing how everyone has gravitated towards this U.S. Open or this U.S. Open Cup for him, and them getting ready to September 27th. Get that. I believe who are they going against? Who they were going against that day?
Yeah, because I know now all of their opponents have been outside of like the regular season of play for the MLS. The Leagues Cup here, we have teams from Liga Mexico and also in the MLS, so they're facing good competition too. I mean, Tigres and Monterrey, very good team, won Mexico Liga a couple times too, so they're not slouches over there. But I mean, in terms of the MLS's popularity, I think it's really cool to see. I think the other night it was Burrow and Jamar Chase, they were at the game. And
They're at
it's
the
like,
game,
how
yeah.
often do you see these American football players cross over? We have the Ocho Cincos of the world, right? But there's not too many of those type of individuals who are really all in there. So I think that's really cool to see. And I think it's become a big deal. It's become like not so much about, oh, let's watch the MLS, but let's go watch Messi hopefully pull some magic, score a free kick to tie the game up, or to be able to help them, advance in the Leagues Cup. So I think this is awesome for the sport. Obviously, as someone who lives in Seattle, been to the Sounders game, it's an experience like no other. I think it's just as good as going to the Seahawks game. It's a great experience. I don't know if every MLS game is like that, but at least here in Seattle, they definitely take their Sounders very seriously. And I think that's going to continue to grow. Steve, what do you think? I know we've been following Messi in his career throughout our entire lives. He's one of those players like LeBron James or Sidney Crosby who it feels like they've been just like the best at what they do the entire time we've been following sports, the capacity that we have. What are your thoughts on Messi coming over to the States and giving a little bit of that magic to us American viewers?
Yeah, he's definitely one of those few names that transcend sports. LeBron is one of them. I can't think of too many others. Ronaldo would be another one. Nadal maybe, but like Tiger. These are guys that no matter where they go, they're going to draw a huge crowd. They're going to, anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter where he's playing. He could be playing pickup. He could be playing MLS. He could be playing for the Riverhounds. He could be playing for the Sounders. He could be playing the World Cup, scoring 2 goals in the game-winning penalty kick, Doesn't matter. He's going to have the crowd and the whole eyes of the world watching him, and it's been cool that he decided to come here and do his kind of late career farewell tour here. Who knows how long it'll be? Maybe, hopefully, a few years of this, because I kind of think back to when you mentioned it, I almost forgot about the days of Bender, like Beckham, when David Beckham came to the U.S. and played for the LA Galaxy. It seemed like it was such a huge deal at the time, but it's like Beckham, as big a star as he was more a pop star than being like the best footballer in the world, right? He was really good in his prime, but like he wasn't Messi good. He was more of Conor McGregor's guy that star power was even bigger than his skill, I think, right? And so when he came here, it's not like he was going to make the Galaxy into the best team in the MLS right away. And it was kind of like, well, when I realized that wasn't happening, I wasn't following it close, but it was like, I think everyone that kind of heard all the hype and the hoopla when he came over, it was such a big deal in the press. And then I don't think the Galaxy ended up being that much better, right? Like they're winning a bunch of cups. I don't know if they ever won one. So it's like, okay, is he really like, was he really that big a deal, or is he here just to come to LA to make movies and live in Hollywood? That's kind of what it was about. Whereas Messi, when I first heard he was coming, I wasn't sure if it was just, just to make money or give him a bunch of money or something. But that wouldn't make sense because Saudi's giving away billions of dollars. They would have given Messi $2 billion, I would think. So instead, I don't know why, but he wanted to come bless us with his presence in America, and I'm happy he did it. That is really cool, like you said, with the NFL guys, Bear and Chase going to watch him play. Like, yeah, you don't see that every day. So I'm sure the other guys on his team, and even that they're playing from the MLS as opponents, and even the Mexican teams, they must love that exposure and just that opportunity to share a pitch with Messi that they never thought they would have happen. They were watching him win the World Cup last year, and now he's like their teammate. That must be a crazy feeling. And he did bring his one teammate, right? Who is it, Sal, that he brought with him as well? From I think from his I think so. Yeah, someone. You have to look it up. I'm not the expert there. He brought someone else with him to make sure almost that he had like a friend and partner on the field, that he wouldn't be the only one who really knew what he was doing. So I don't know, but he definitely seems to have brought that winning touch and stuff. You look at these highlights you've shared, and these are just like, he's a magician out there still at 35, like Clay said, still looks to be in his athletic prime. I mean, just like we said, won the World Cup, looking better than ever. So, man, is he ever going to like fall off? I don't know, but it's cool that he's still this good and playing here. And just, I don't know, I mean, those goalies must feel helpless, I guess. They're probably the MLS goalies are probably the only ones who aren't happy he's here, because I don't know how you stop him. I mean, but yeah, he's really fun to watch. I've, like you said, Sal, I've loved, ever since we started playing FIFA, I always loved Messi. And hearing the commentator say his name, I didn't know who he was, really. I just heard him say Messi a lot. But this guy's really fast, and he's good. And that was like 15-plus years ago at least, and he's still doing it. So that's pretty cool. And, yeah, I was really happy when they finally won the World Cup, too. So this is great for the sport, I think, and for MLS popularity and everything else.
Yeah, and then the teammate that you mentioned, I think it was Sergio Ramos, who played at PSG over in France with Messi.
I know he's a legend. Is he really on the team with them too?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then obviously he's not the player he was back when Spain was winning World Cups, but for a player, high quality player, well known player to be in MLS, I think that's really cool. Yeah, I really do wonder what's going to happen here with Saudi. I mean, Ronaldo obviously going down there, and big names like Neymar and Karim Benzema are going over there too and securing the bag. And I wonder how the quality of play in that league is going to be with all the people trying to chase the bag there. I don't think the MLS can compete in terms of paying these players, but honestly, I don't think Americans would really care too much about all these other more like A tier, B tier type of football players. All we really care about is like the best of the best, right? We're America. We want to be number one. We want to see the best player play. So I don't think we're too interested in seeing all these other players who are very well known. It'd be like the equivalent of like a Damian Lillard for us NBA fans joining, like the Canadian basketball team. So it's really hard to see those.
Sorry, it looks like Ramos. I'm just looking at myself. I knew I didn't hear about Ramos. He's like been talked about it. It looks like it's Messi, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba are the three that all came. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you know those other guys, but that's what. And they're in this article I'm reading said, if all goes well, Messi, Busquets, and Alba could form a trio to match the dominance of the Miami Heat's big three of the early 2010s. So I'm guessing those are the guys. So the other ones, those aren't as big names, but I mean they came from whatever PSG, so obviously really good. So.
High quality.
Yeah, but Ramos, no. I would have. I'm pretty sure even I would have known if it was Ramos. No.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I think he's still making his decision. It sounds like.
So it looks like he's thinking about going to Miami
right.
too. Huh? Okay, maybe. Yeah, I see it now. It looks like he's thinking about it.
It's just speculation. Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, hopefully MLS can get some players. I mean, obviously some American legends have played in MLS, like the Landon Donovans of the world and the Clint Dempseys, who played here at Seattle, actually, the Sounders. So it'd be really cool to see Miami play here in Seattle. So hopefully he plays here next season when they actually come here to visit, because I think they already visited earlier in the season. So unfortunately, we won't be blessed with Messi's presence, but hopefully sometime soon. And definitely, if there's an MLS team near you, big team, and they're playing Inter Miami, I think it's a must go. It has to be a must go if you're a sports fan, regardless of how you feel about soccer. So let's switch back over to something more close to home, at least in terms of familiarity, and that's fantasy football. We are a couple weeks away from the start of the NFL season. Some of us are starting to think about drafts. Maybe some of us are already going into those drafts this weekend, and we probably know what we're thinking about the first couple of rounds, right, in terms of players. We know who the big stars are. We know the big rookies are come in who are going to get a lot of usage, probably go in those early rounds. But we got Black Belichick here, who's going to help us sift through some of these later rounds and some of these sleepers that you might be able to get in your league. So, Quay, Black Belichick, what do you have for us in terms of players that might be easy to grab, maybe players that aren't on everyone's radar, or maybe players that are well known but aren't going for as high. So who do you like in terms of value here for the 2023 fantasy draft?
Alrighty. It's been, very, very exciting moment for me in the segment. Football's always been, joy of mine for those who are new to the channel. It's always been such a joy. I have been dubbed Black Belichick for many reasons. The dynasty throughout the years. Did not win the fated 3 in a row. I was so close. It's okay. I'm going to get back to the championship. And maybe I can help you guys get to your first championship. Or maybe I can help you get to the championship again and start your dynasty. But today we're just going to do much sleepers. I might get into a little bit of value and when you can get picks, certain picks that people might already know about. And a dark horse that I actually have for early round based off how the league is going and certain things. But off of my sleepers here, looking for a quarterback. Quarterback of the year that's going to have a great year. That's not, your typical Joe Burrows, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herberts, or anything like that. It is going to be Commanders starting quarterback Sam Howell.
Wow.
If anyone has been watching the Commanders play, I don't know if anyone's been tuning into any of the talks coming out of camp. But Sam Howell has been touted very highly amongst teammates, amongst coaching personnel. See him play this preseason. He has had very, very high moments. Dual threat quarterback. Not most blazing fast quarterback, more of a bruising running quarterback. His shoulder to try to, impose his will. Hopefully, he won't do that too much. You want your quarterback to stay upright. But because of that dual threat ability, and with the Commanders more than likely going to have to always contend to win games, going to have plenty of opportunities to score on the ground and to throw. It's like, and by extension, for those looking for low value or low round, high value receivers, by extension with him, look at Jahan Dotson. I know people are going to look at Terry McLaurin because Scary Terry is Scary Terry. But Dotson is starting to look like Sam Howell's go-to receiver. And he made some strides last year as a rookie. And that's with Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke as his quarterback. So, two there coming out of Washington with the Commanders. Those are good picks to look out for. We're going to take it not too far. We're going to keep it in the receiver range here. Take it too far from the Commanders. We're actually going to keep it in that same division. And we're going to go to the Giants. I really like. One that started to emerge a little bit last year. Had very, very big games from the end of last season going into their playoff run. And that is Isaiah Hodges. If you're looking for a receiver, another one of those low round, high value, you're probably able to get this guy in the 10th round easily. But I believe he's going to have a breakout year. They don't have too many outside receiving threats, and he can play both outside and inside. Reason the Giants love their slot receivers, so I don't know why they have a plethora of slot receivers. But he's going to be their only pure outside threat who can also work inside the numbers as well. And, Daniel Jones started to really look for him as the season went on, so I'm looking for him to have a breakout season. So, down if you are curious and needing a receiver. We're going to go running back next here. And we're actually going to go a running back who's not actually officially starting. The running back who could potentially start more based off of the running back situation around the league. The position is losing its value, which don't really understand because teams really utilize their running backs to control the game. The year goes on and conditions get a little bit tougher. We start to see teams start to run the ball more. So it's definitely going to be something that the league is going to have to figure out and all that. But that's not here or there. Going to be Zamir White with Las Vegas Raiders. With Josh Jacobs going into pretty much holding out. I don't know when he's going to come back. If they even work out a contract, and that's the thing we could see with a lot of these running backs that contracts and might not be able to get them, might hold out to have leverage, keep their bodies fresh and whatnot. But if Josh Jacobs does not decide to play, or if he does play, it might take him a couple weeks to get up to speed. He might not play as much as he wants to try to limit his own carries to keep his body fresh. Zamir White's going to get a lot of those touches. Very young running back. It's only his second year. Great upside, speed, power. Can catch out the backfield a little bit as well. Security issues just based off of last year from the little time that he did get in for preseason and some plays throughout the regular season. But with him having more focus in camp due to the Josh Jacobs situation, I'm expecting a bigger year from him. So, out for there. Another running back due to situation as well. we're going to keep it there, is Isaiah Spiller with the Los Angeles Chargers. Given that Austin Eckler, which he's going to be picked very high, so unless you have the first 2 picks, you're more than likely not getting Eckler. Isaiah Spiller's going to be a great handcuff, kind of like the same situation with that's going on with the Raiders. Eckler's looking for that contract. They're not seeming to want to get it. He does want to play it out, but who knows what they decide to do. Do they keep feeding him the ball? They want to not feed him the ball as much to try to keep his value lower. We don't know. But Isaiah Spiller could have a potential to start more. And because of the, like I said, the running back situation and injuries always occur, having a handcuff like Isaiah Spiller and a Zamir White would not be a problem at all. And their running backs you can potentially get very late. We're talking as late as the 8th round or as early as the 8th round, probably as late as somewhere in the 12th round. So it's there. And I have 2 more and we'll be out of here. But 2 more receivers. We're going to go Mac Hollins with the Falcons. Kind of like what you're saying.
Good man.
Yeah. Like you were saying, Steve, I do think a team that could go from last to first is those Falcons. There's a lot of question marks behind Desmond Ridder, but I did like what I saw from him out of preseason last year, like what I saw from him in some of his games towards the end of the season once they benched Mariota and went with him. Mac Hollins had a great year. As we were talking about the Raiders, Mac Hollins had a breakout year last year. With a couple injuries, he stepped up playing the number 2 slot receiver role, and he had a great year. Looking at him now, and the man looks like a freak of nature. Gained like 15 pounds of muscle, it seems. He's looking like a tight end playing receiver. It's pretty crazy. Without them having really a pure number 1 receiver outside of Drake London needing to emerge a little bit more, there's gonna be passes, definitely passes that need to go somewhere, and he's definitely gonna make a name for himself. And I think they brought him in for that reason. He betted on himself signing in that 1-year contract for a reason. He could potentially be their second best weapon on the offense, just in terms of fantasy points into next year. So
got that crazy hair going too. I'm a big fan. He's got the caveman mentality. What does he say? He said he doesn't like soft people or like people who eat with utensils. So Sal, you'd be a fan. Yeah, his utensil-free diet consists of meat and fruit. He's okay with eating his meal raw. And yeah, he likes to like walk around barefoot and basically show off his muscles and stuff. So definitely a throwback guy, and we'll see if he'll become like a cult kind of folk hero if he really has a big year like Black Belly Forecast.
Yep. And the last one here, and we're gonna take it to the AFC North. And it is not going to be the Ravens. It is not going to be the Bengals. It is not going to be the Brownies. Thought about the Brownies, but I had to pick our Steelers, and I had to talk about one guy. Mouse to feed on that offense, so I totally get it. But just purely off of the need for speed, and if we're talking about throwing the ball deep, Alvin Austin was a guy that we toted pretty highly last year, and sadly got hurt. And that was part of the reason why we couldn't stretch the field as much as we really wanted to. Some of our special teams play, even though Steven Sims did a good job at times being our return man there.
Miss Stevie.
But yeah, I think from what we've seen in the preseason or with Calvin Austin, dude is ready to play. He's a matchup nightmare if he can blow right past you. Hands, great vision, and he has special teams upside as well. So, he doesn't get a touchdown that game, but he might get a punt return, get a kick return. So, I'm liking him. Like I said, we have a lot of mouths to feed on that offense between Pickens, Najee carrying it and receiving the ball. He's still getting his touches, and Freiermuth, being that check down security. But I do think at some point in the season, he's going to usurp Allen Robinson in certain formations as our wide receiver 3, and he's going. So.
Did we just lose Black Belly's connection as soon as he finished? Okay. I think we got all of the sleepers. We got all the sleepers. If that's all you got to say, Clay, if we lost you, man, you gave us what we needed. Man, those are some deep late round sleepers. Like, most times you ask for a sleeper, they're gonna give you, I don't know,
second round.
Yeah, like a wide receiver too on like a team on most teams. You know, like I'm trying to think of a name, like I don't know, but someone that you know and like an established starter still. But like Clay's pulling deep in his bag to tell you the guys that could win you a league late in the rounds. I love it. Isaiah Hodgins and Isaiah Spiller. I didn't really. I mean, I've heard the names. Whoa, he's back.
Back.
What? Whatever.
We were just saying you got all the info out before you disconnected.
Right before you disconnected.
Crazy.
I don't know. Like, yeah, the last thing you said, but you had just finished like basically wrapping it up, and we were just saying how wow, those are some deep cut late round sleepers, like legit sleepers, not fake fantasy expert sleepers who's giving you like an established wide receiver too. You're literally telling us who can win you a draft like in the 15th round, like a steal. Like, I love it.
Yeah, no, I was actually thinking about it. I'm like, all right. I started to think about every team. And I'm like, okay, yeah, these are the obvious ones. And I'm like,
right.
Okay, wait a second.
People who know, like, you gave us people that, like, even people who watch and study a lot of football and play a lot of fantasy won't really know about until now. So, props for that.
Yeah, I mean, you're spilling all the secrets.
Segment. I know.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. Now I know who you're going for in the drafts now. But these are mostly last round guys anyway. But I will say, too, I know it's not my segment, but yeah, you mentioned the Giants and Hodgins and the outside receivers, and a guy that I've been so high on since before the draft, since watching him play at Tennessee last year. He put up 5 touchdowns on Alabama. He's the fastest receiver to enter the NFL since Tyreek Hill. I'm confident of that. And he might be almost, if not as fast as Tyreek. Just the way he gallops and glides is insane. I think he's running 25 miles per hour, the clock net. Jalen Hyatt, rookie. He is going to be their outside guy. I know you said Hodgins can do inside and outside, but in terms of their outside threat, it's going to be Jalen Hyatt for the Giants. I cannot wait to see what he can do on an NFL field because I think he's going to just blow people's minds with how fast this guy is. He is just. They said he was only a one-trick pony deep threat, and that's why he fell to the 3rd round. But apparently, I mean, he can do more than that too. But even if he's just a deep threat, he could be the next just unstoppable go-route guy in the league. We'll see.
Yeah, but I like that pick too. That's another one. Another one. Doesn't always have to be a Black Belly.
Black Belly approved. Black Belly gave it the stamp though.
BB approved.
Yeah.
BBL approved.
The BB stamp of approval.
Well,
BBL.
thank you.
Black Belly Lotus.
Yeah, Black Belly Lotus. Well, thank you everyone for watching us for this hour and a half special. Hopefully we can get everyone some more content moving into the future. Hopefully we can keep everyone connected throughout the NFL season, throughout the different UFC pay-per-views. We got the NBA season coming in. MLB is closing out. A lot of cool things that are going to be happening over the next couple of months. And hopefully we can give you our reactions here on the Spiel. Anyone have any spiel, anything that they want to get off their chest before we say goodbye to everyone tonight?
All I have to say is everyone's been enjoying their summer. Life has been interesting. We were doing this for COVID. COVID kind of changed things. But it's good to be back. And, as life kind of throws you these different curveballs, we'll keep it, sports related, as it throws you these curveballs every once in a while. Sometimes you got to still take that swing. Even if there might be a curveball coming, you don't know what's coming, you got to take that swing. And, if you prepare and still go ahead out, still prepare and you still do what you're supposed to do, hey, man, life is going to have its ups and downs, but every once in a while, you're going to still have those moments where, even with that curveball, you're going to hit it, and you're going to feel accomplished and think you're going to feel good. So I'm glad to be back with everyone here. I'm hoping that we can, like Sal was saying, we can continue to bring this to you guys. I COVID made me realize I wanted to get more into a creative space with things, focus on a lot of things that really filled the creative nature or the creative side to me. And this was a special thing that we started, and I'm glad that we were able to start this and bring it back. Like you said, it's been way too long, and it feels good to be back. So I'm appreciative for everyone who tuned in. You know, it's always a nice crew with the boys, and we can bring you some more good segments in the future.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I mean, you know, so happy to be here with you guys and just, you know, hear what you got to say. I really respect both of you guys and your takes on the sports world. You know, I don't say about everyone because, you know, I got my own strong opinions, and if you don't know what you're talking about, I'm going to call you on it. So you guys obviously know what you're talking about, and I really love what you bring to the table here. And Sal, obviously running the show behind the scenes, pulling up all the clips, you know, and just making the whole layout look good, the spiel with the, you know, the simulcast, the grid, and everything. It's you do a great job, man, and I hope all you viewers enjoyed the tuned in. A steady 5 throughout, and we'll put some clips up. I'm sure Sal will cut some up for IG, but it's been great to be back for the start of the new season, and we'll be back here soon again. And so, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully, we could get Sports Guru on here. Hopefully, we get Randy on here to bring their perspectives. And hopefully remove some
DMV
of this,
perspectives.
Yeah, this Western PA bias out of here, so that we won't be called a Pittsburgh show and we are a national.
Hey, you can't call me a homer, guys. You can't call me a homer. I'm wearing Jerry.
The Jerry Rice. That's the GOAT. That's the undisputed GOAT, I think, when it comes to the wide receiver. Right? No competition. So until next time, everyone.
Any current day receiver, and they all name like 5 current guys as their Mount Rushmore. But yeah, that's another topic. Yeah.
Put that shit on. Hey, put that shit on. All right, everyone. Well, everyone have a good night. We will see you soon. Hopefully we can get you another show in the next couple of weeks and make this a hopefully weekly, maybe bi-weekly occurrence. And we will see everyone next time. Hope everyone has the best NFL fantasy football drafts. Hope everyone enjoys those the beginning of the football season. Hopefully we'll see everyone soon, and we'll be able to react with you in real time as we progress throughout the rest of the year. So thank you everyone, and have a good night. Until next time.
Good night.